Today is going to be a long day. The first mine we're trying to reach is 1,000 vertical feet from where we're standing up to there. We've got our first miney thing, which is that ore bin over there, which is pretty cool. Now look at it. Given the condition of the road on the way in, it's incredible to us that trucks actually drove up here at one time, but they did. But for now, we're gonna focus our energies on trying to find the old miner's trail wrapping its way up those cliffs. We've climbed up higher and have reached a tram station. You can see the remains of the chute here where the tram would have unloaded. We still have that ahead of us. See the tram cables coming down. Something kind of cool here is you can see the rust stains on the ground where rainwater would have run down the cable and picked up the rust and then dumped the iron laden water on the ground there. When we first came up here, we scared off a bighorn sheep, which is kind of cool too. Oh man, it's gonna be a long day. There's a look back down the wash we've been climbing up. It's pretty rough, but because it's so steep, we're making decent progress. Most of the old miner's trail has been washed out, but we found another piece of it here. Jake's making his way up, and our target is up on top there. So still a ways to go, but it's somewhat encouraging to look back and see how far we've come. Very, very steep up in that wash. We have to go up that wash on the left, and it's very steep, so it'll be fun doing that. Still making our way up this wash. The miner's trail has actually improved the higher up we've gotten, so we've been switchbacking up it. It goes up there. You see another section there. There was a really sketchy looking bridge we looked up to from below that at least one of us is concerned about. Jake's not a big fan of the heights. I think it's gonna be fine, but he's not a big fan of the heights. We're starting to see more miney stuff. There was an air receiver tank in the wash down there, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but the tram cable is running down. So I keep climbing up. As the crow flies, we're not far, but this will not be swift moving. Pretty curious about that bridge. I may turn the camera back on at the bridge if it's as sporty as it looked from below. It's hard to believe it looking at it now, but we followed a trail up this, and we've seen bits and pieces of mining stuff along the way, pieces of wood and such. And then again, it's hard to tell, but the miner's trail comes through here and then bends around there. And we're still heading up. See the cable, the tram cable. So we're on the right track. We came up another significant distance, and I mentioned that we were starting to see mining stuff. You can see an air receiver tank there, and we've come across this old, what we believe is a Ford. We don't know our old Fords well enough to know if it's a Model A or T or whatever, based on what we're seeing here. But they cut the back end off and made sort of an A-frame weld in the back.
There's still a gauge on it that might give someone who knows more than us an idea of what model. It's got the number 10 in it.
Okay, I'll scoot down and get that. Either way, they were obviously using this for powering a winch or a hoist or even the tram perhaps. It's extraordinary to us though that they're even able to get this up here, given what we just climbed up. You know, to get a whole vehicle up here is unbelievable. But of even more interest, we're almost there. There's a trestle there. You see the waste rock coming down the hill here. There's a big rock wall up there. So we have made it through the steepest part and are almost to what we anticipate being the good stuff. So I'll show you that gauge down here.
If we needed any more evidence it's a Ford, the valve says Ford.
Oh, well, there you go. At least we got that part right. I don't know if the light, oh, okay, I guess it is turned out all right. So maybe somebody can identify it based on that. Either way, we're gonna keep scooting up the hill and I'll pick up somewhere up there. I was last shooting down there And we've made it up to that tram station. It's anchored there. The tram, look, I see how the chute sort of cuts in at the end. The tram would have come up to about here. They would dump the ore in and then taking it back down the mountain. Look at all the addits over there. There. Not quite sure how to get to those yet. It's going to take some calculating, but I think this tram station is pretty cool. And then behind us are the remains of another vehicle. Sorry the light's so bad right now. Just looking for a manufacturer's stamp or anything like that. So we've got at least 2 vehicles that got up here somehow, which is quite impressive. So you can't tell from here, there's a trestle running back that way. So I'll head up to that and pick up from there. Come up a little ways from the vehicle down there. You can see the trestle I was referring to hitting the rail there. And I'm assuming there's an adit in that cut there. This is interesting. They put these blocks of wood here to elevate the cable a bit. And you can see how the cable's bitten into the wood over time. I was a little surprised by the anchor. With the anchor, they only have those 3 pins right there, which, think about how much a load of ore weighs, it doesn't seem like a lot. I mean, even if that goes 10 feet down into the rock, it just doesn't fill me with confidence, let's say. Another view of the addits across the way. I'll climb down to the rail there and pick up there. At the trestle here, you can see the crazy contortions the airlines had to go through to get over to the adit, which I'm assuming is behind me. I'm sorry the light's so bad. See the rail. I'll see the valve right there. And there. The rail is running over this way. We've got an adit there and a shaft here. That's going to merit further investigation. I can't tell if that's vertical. The light being what it is, I can't tell if that's vertical or not. And then a little junction right here, that's cool. Then we bend around. And the rail seems to terminate there, so they're probably dumping waste rock there. But there's obviously more stuff up above. And the trail zigzags up. So we'll start the one behind me, obviously. But then we've got a lot of other stuff to check out as well. It's gonna be a job even just getting over those. Looking out the portal toward the valley beyond. Gonna save that shaft after we warm up with the adit. Got a table here with a bunch of interesting looking stuff on it. Old battery. Be curious about the age of the battery. Kraft mustard. Wallace china. And then this fabric on the floor is probably got something to do with that mattress ahead of us there.
It's a bed.
Yeah, thank you, bed. There must have been a mattress on the bed. That's what I was trying to say. It's been a long hike. It runs ahead. I see a sketchy looking board over a pit, which is not a good start. There's a little side pocket here. Just dead ends. As so. See some crystally looking action there. Oh, I didn't show you the other side of where we came in. I'll show you real quickly. There's nothing here. It's just a little pocket with some boxes tossed inside than our stuff. It says best on it. All right, past the bed. A lot of fabric on the ground. All right, fortunately that's not some huge pit. And hopefully that's not the end. It's gonna be awfully disappointing if that is. I think we're already at the end, guys.
Serious?
Yeah. Yep. That is the face right there. So, definitely not a haulage at it. If you look at the geology, gonna have to take another look at that shaft, and then still have all the stuff up above. I was looking back, so as far as we've come in. I'm about to go down that shaft, but just before I do, I wanted to show you a couple little things we noticed here on the table. One thing was this wooden bowl here, which was unusual, obviously. And then there are a bunch of egg cartons back there as well, which is also rather interesting. There's a view of what's on the ground. And I am gonna tackle that shaft. I just dropped in from there, scrambled my way down the rocks. These ladders are certainly beyond a functional age. There's a little pocket here. It's got drill holes all over the place. So I don't know if there was a little pocket of high grade here or what, but you're probably more interested in what's behind me. The shaft is an incline. That might be the end right there. I can't tell yet. There's a little blast sheet ledge right here. It's steeper than that look. This is steeper than it looks. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking today. And I think that might be the end right there. So I'm gonna climb down. I'll pick up on the bottom there. I was shooting up there last, and unfortunately, I've already come to the end. You can see there's a little pocket here. It's pretty highly mineralized. And then this little prospect shaft drops down to here and stops. That's filled in a little bit with mud and sand and such, but I don't think it went much farther than that. Just, there's no big stope over my head or anything that's getting missed. You just see that. And then what I'm sitting on right now are a couple blast sheets and some boards. And that's it. So, we are heading higher up the mountain. I climbed up here from down there. You see where my buddies are. And I saw this waste rock here. And so, I was fairly optimistic about there being something good up here. But, it's just a surface cut. They basically cleared out this ledge where I'm standing. So, I looked over here. There's a little surface cut there too. I looked over here thinking I might be able to cut over to where those pipes and such were leading to. However, that's not going to happen. That's a sheer cliff. So I have to backtrack all the way down to get to where my buddies are, and then we'll have to climb up that scree pile to get to whatever that is. And then you can see the miner's trail bends down. There's another adit there we didn't see from below over there. And then there's more stuff beyond. So we're curious to see what that other stuff looks like. I just turned the camera off when I looked down and I saw this nice copper right here. See that blue? Even in this bad light, I'm sure that's coming across. That's pretty neat. All right, so We've got whatever this is here to check out and all that over there. One trail goes across there, another one drops down from there. I was last shooting from up there, and I climbed down the cliff, down the bottom of the pipe there, climbed that back up the scree pile to arrive here. There is an adit here. Looks like some kind of workbench. I'm having issues with my main camera, so that's why I'm using my phone. There's a little pocket right here. My buddies are just over there. And they went in that lower thing and said it was just a stope that runs up. That may be the top of the stope there. We're going to find out shortly if I don't fall and break my leg. In the meantime, we're going to check this out. A little pocket here. Let's another look at that workbench. That's not drill steel or anything like that. Just notice there's something inside. Okay. Just an empty can. So, boy, I hope that's not the end. I really hope that's not the end. Can on the ground there. Okay, good. Metal can. Some cool coppers. See those copper colors? The blues. Ah, well, that last one wasn't the end, but this isn't much better. Show you some of the mineralization since I did all the work to get up here. There's a good echo, so there is that. It's pretty cool mineralization. All right, the only option from here for trails is to go down to where my friends are, and then we'll start working our way around the ridge. That was the section I was just checking out. I've come down to join my buddies. We've got that to check out. There's a pile there, and then there's a rock wall up there. I'll hit the one they checked out, the stope, on the way out, because I'm going to go out that way. But for now, we still have the stuff ahead of us. Did you check that little hole right there?
Not yet.
All right, so we'll check that, the upper thing, and yeah, I'll pick up in a minute. On closer examination, that thing that was right in front of us, which just looks like a fox den from here, and you're confirming, how far back does it go?
Maybe 6 feet.
Okay,
That's it.
6 feet. So next target is to scramble up to that. Just climbed up from there, and I have reached that dark hole on the side of the cliff. And I've got a bad feeling that this is it. Except for, yeah, okay. It goes to there. That is it. Big opening to just have this. I'll keep climbing up. Just climbed up from next to where that retaining wall is to look at the next section over. We see a couple of holes and waste rock piles, so to try and figure out a way over there, but that looks pretty tricky from here. I'm standing on top. I'm standing on the arch of an open stope right now. I can see the bottom though. It doesn't look like there's anything I need to investigate further than what you can see here. The entrance of the stope is right there. It just runs underneath me, and that's it. And that's what created this waste rock pile. I'm gonna go to where Jake is to get a better view. I was just standing there. See my friend Mike there. Because of time pressure, we essentially have to choose between checking those out or following this trail over to what's supposed to be another mine around the side there. Right now I'm leaning toward the mine around the side, based on what we've seen so far of this one. Of course, with our luck, those are stunning addits up there. So we had the brilliant idea to pull out the binoculars we brought with us to assess the addits more closely, and you're reporting back at least that the first one is, you can see the end of it already?
Yeah, the far right, it's actually 2 open cuts into the wall. Very square, very large, with the gobbing in front, but you can clearly see the back on both of them.
Okay, that's good news.
Above them, there's another similar square rectangular cut with some gobbing. And then, see that center one there?
Yeah.
Over there. Yeah, a little deeper, but it's the same thing. They just started carving into the hillside. Large adit going back maybe 20 feet with the same gobbing. And
okay.
I don't see, that one actually does not really seem to have a trail. Yeah, you can see where the gobbing went further out and connected to what I assume is a trail ledge, but it's all washed out. So
all right.
Looks like we'd have an 8-foot jump from the end of the ledge to that gobbing.
All right, and that's not worth it for a 20-foot little prospect. So
There's a pile of wood below it, crashed down below.
Oh, well, wood, you know,
I
that
don't see any metal or equipment, it's just planks.
I was gonna make a joke about going up there for the wood, but now that's all right, that makes me feel a lot better. For once we used one of the heavy tools that we bring with us to good effect. So with that said, I'm gonna drop on this trail and cut over and hopefully get around that ridge to the other mine that's on the other side of this ridge. We've seen some pictures of ore samples online that came out of that mine, and they look pretty cool, so we need to be able to show you on camera. There are my friends over there, and I made my way over on the miner's trail, and I still can't tell if it's worth it or not because I have to keep climbing up. However, a lot of wood scrap there and the edge of some sort of platform over there, but I don't know yet. The addits are around the side. I don't know yet about getting over there. That may be a bit more sporty. Now that I'm looking here, actually, I see those holes in the side of the cliff there. I didn't see those before. I can't imagine getting to those. I climbed up from over there, and this was that trestle or platform I spotted off in the distance. I'm actually not sure what the function of this was, because you can see the cable running up there to the tram station and workings there. Those 2 holes inside of the cliff I spotted are there, and now I understand how to get up to them there. This miner's trail is getting pretty sporty. You see there used to be a bridge going across that's washed out, so this is going to be interesting. There is some kind of portal there, which I think I can get over to, and then I've got to find a way to get over to that. I'm not sure how I'll do it, but I'll find a way. So, oh man, this oh, that's not as bad as I thought it looked. Some of these, usually these are worse than you think, but this one actually is better than it looks. So I'll just cut down there and I'll pick up somewhere over there. I was just shooting from over there, and I've made my way over to what I thought was a portal, but it's actually just a little lean-to they placed inside this notch in the rock. So now it gets interesting, because I've got to figure that out. I was just shooting at the lean-to over there, and I'm happy to say that this is a day of pleasant surprises, because the miners blasted out a path along the edge of the cliff to get over to the workings here. So, and that's a decent waste rock pile with waste rock running all the way down that wash. So I think that's a lot bigger than the last one I went into. There's a pipe running up. I am not so sure about getting up there, if that's possible, since the trail is washed out, but I'll do my best. No matter what, there's a big opening there, so we'll over there and check that out. I'm gonna scoot along the side of the cliff here and work my way over to there. There's a question mark about that spot there, but I'll figure it out. I made my way along the edge of the cliff to get over this spot, and right away you can tell it doesn't get a lot of traffic. Just seeing a wheelbarrow here alone is a good indicator. The tram station is there. See that wheel on the side? Isn't that cool? The dirt and such must have backed right up to it at one time. The rail would have come out of the adit there, dumped it into the bin, which the lower part would have gone into the tram, which should have dropped it all the way down that wash. But over time, the rock that was built up here is obviously eroded away, but that's in pretty good shape considering its location. There's a chute there, that pipe running up there. Still not entirely sure how to get up there. I'll check up there. There's, looks like some kind of derrick or something up there at the very top. Can you see that? Oh, and there's another opening there. See that? That's what I was talking about. I don't know how to get up there yet though. Starting with a portal here. Got the nice floral arrangement to welcome us in. I see lots of beds already. See those pretty plants there. We've got some samples here. And somebody obviously came up here to collect some samples. We've got some kind of animal living here. I see a lot of small animal feces. There's a newspaper here, but I don't want to go thumbing through it with that shit on it. Literally. There's an old cot here on the ground. There's something dropping down there. Oh, people are sleeping up here. Wow. People are actually camping inside of this mine. I can sort of relate, actually, considering what it took to get up here. Another bed here. Los Angeles Times, 2009, actually. Huh. All right, let's focus on the mine. There's a stope chamber in front of me here. Which daylight's up there. I bet those are those holes we saw. Stope chamber continues through here. I forget, we still have this to check out. And we're running back this way. Keep going here. There's a little tiny raise there. Oh, this is kind of cool. Look at all those pillars. They made all these little pillars in the stope. Little raise there. This is kind of cool. They made this gallery or hallway here. It's a classifier screen. A lot of angles in here, so I keep seeing shadows and thinking there might be something There's another pillar there leading up to more stoping there. And this is interesting. There is a walkway there leading up to a failed ladder there. So you can either get to that part, excuse me, it's been a long day. Or you might be able to climb up here and get up there. I'll give that a shot. I just climbed up that broken ladder to get to this section. I could cross over there if I was hunting specimens or something, but I'm not. Here for the history. See the stope runs up all through there. Let's see about getting over there. They made a pillar there out of gobbing, which looks kind of neat. Oh, it runs up farther than I realized. That's looking down to an area we looked up to before. There's that gobbing pillar. It's getting really warm in here. I'm in a humid, muggy section. Okay, there's a weird little passageway there. And there's this here. I cannot believe how hot it is all of a sudden. I feel like I just walked into a sauna. I'm not exaggerating. Oh, it's unbelievably humid here. Okay, I think this is... Yeah, this is the end of this section. Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to check out that funny little passageway. We were just looking over there and have now arrived at this passageway, which doesn't look very promising, but I've said that about how some of our best mine exploring started. Very weird smell here. It's like a weird chemical smell. I'm down on my knees. Hope I don't come face to face with an aggressive wild animal up here. It looks like the end. I'm just curious if it runs up. I'm gonna crawl up there and I'll turn the camera back on. All right, that's it. Featureless chamber. I'm gonna head back to where that stuff branched off to the left. We just finished checking out that section, and if you'll recall, we have this stuff off to the left. Check out. My friends caught it to me. That's what you hear in the background. All right, that is a dead end, and that is a dead end. We still have that thing dropping off back by the portal though. Oh, thankfully one of my friends is doing that.
That's it? It's the modern garbage dump.
Is that the end down there?
Yep.
Okay, that's dead end. Just finished exploring that lower stope gallery. When I went into the right and looked up and saw the daylight, that's obviously what that is. So I'm not gonna bother going up there to see that. What I'm more interested in now is all the stuff up on this side. I know I can scramble up to that. So I think I'm gonna start there and see if it's possible for me to keep making my way up, because I'm really curious about the stuff that's up top there. Just climbed up from there. There's some surface work there, and then that thing I was working up to was this. You can see the end of it right there. I gotta figure out how to keep getting up though. A lot easier said than done, but I gotta try. I just scaled that sheer cliff and actually scared myself at one point. It was so bad. It was one of the situations where I couldn't go back. I could only keep going up, and yeah, that was a little sporty for a minute. You can see there's a little opening there, and I did a bunch of surface work here. That ramp with a pipe going down is right there, so they obviously cleared out a pocket of ore here. I'm standing next to, oh, there's the bottom of the pipe there. Standing next to the remains of some structure. I think it's interesting. You can see where they drove an anchor in and wired it to that structure to keep it from falling. The derrick looking thing is up there. Now that I'm looking at it, looks like it just might be part of a trestle or an ore bin or something that tipped over. Either way, I think get up there. I think I can go up through there and zigzag over and get to that. I've come this far, so I'm certainly going to try. There's some more equipment that's come down there. But I definitely feeling the time pressure, so I'll try picking up somewhere up there. Still going. This is where I'm coming up, so it's very difficult, dangerous, slow going. That's why I'm breathing so hard too. So I look at the infrastructure, and it looks like there's some kind of ledge up here. I'm thinking that's probably my destination, as hard as it's going to be to get the last of that done. I stopped because right in front of me is this skull, which I'm assuming this is a snake, but I don't know snake skeletons well enough, but I'm assuming that's a snake skull. So hopefully I don't see any when I get up to that point, or on my way up to that point. Well, appearances are deceiving. This is what I climbed up to. A really bad idea, actually. I'm nervous about getting back down. There's that little platform right there. Has some rocks stacked up. I'm assuming they must have just done some surface work here. I'm gonna get a little closer and see if I can get down that way. Look at what I just climbed up. That's completely insane. It looks terrifying to go back down. I'm straight up from the tram station down there. That's totally insane. That platform is there. I figured I was this close to the ridge, I might as well come all the way up. And as I kind of suspected, they just did a little bit of surface work here. But that's it. So I seriously risked my life to get up just to see this, but I'll bet not many people get up here on the ridge. Here's a view of the next wash over and the mountains beyond. Certain sense of satisfaction for sure, but wow, I paid a high price for that. I might pay an even higher price going back down. I'm legitimately concerned about that. I am not too shy to admit that. But the idea of going back down that makes me uncomfortable. Let's take a little walk together, see if there's anything over here, but I think it's just all surface stuff. Yeah. This is all surface stuff, and then that platform, there's a little cut right there. That platform, see the piece of wood sticking out right there. That's it. There's looking down on the platform. I'm standing in that cut. A couple scraps of wood over there, but I'm primarily concerned with getting back down. I really don't know how I'm going to do this. That platform is right there, and when I was looking for a way down, I noticed those boards were actually forming a trail leading over here. So as long as we're here, we should probably examine where those go, or where this goes, I should say. Like I said, I think I'm the first one up here in a good while. Other people might have been on that lower adit, but I don't think many people have been up here. Wow. Looks like kept going out the edge. Looks like there might have been a little bit of surface stuff here. When we came underneath that. In fact, there's that stope where we got the binoculars out over there. I recognize the dark earth. Oh, this little surface prospect hole here. I wonder if this trail was for that, because I don't see where it could go beyond that. Oh wow. That'd be interesting if this was the best adit of the day. I'm gonna scurry over those rocks and get over there. Well, you can't see this from below at all. We had no clue this was here. See the pegboard right there for tracking ore coming out, or people's ships, or something like that. Cool little pillar right there. Stopiness here. I think I see daylight up ahead. This might actually lead back to some of those upper workings, and I'd rather go out this way and then backtrack all the way to my friends than come down what I just went through. Yeah, stopy. Had no idea this was up here. See the gobbing? Look there a second. I'm dying to know where this comes out, so I'll take a closer look up that last passage in a minute. I just love the idea of being able to get out this way. I basically haul it out the mountaintop here. Oh, I don't think I'm in luck. Well, that's a big slab that came off. Actually, you know what? Look, it keeps going over there. I think I'm gonna find a way to make this work. I really don't want to try and go down what I climbed up. This, I don't know what that is. I saw the charcoal. I was thinking blacksmith at first, but you wouldn't have the wooden frame holding that up. That just connects back to where we were looking a second ago. There's more waste rock way down there. And across the valley, or the wash. Okay, and this just leaps back. We were just looking right there. And then it looks like this must have been some kind of platform. You see some infrastructure there. And then Really would love to see a way down. I'm following a miner's trail now. And I'm up on the ridge. But is there a way down from here? I'm not feeling it. That's where I started. The trail keeps going over here. I'm gonna check. I came from over there. I'm still following the miner's trail, trying to find a way to get down there now. I don't know if I should keep following the ridge or try scrambling down. I haven't done well freelancing on my own, so I'm gonna try following this trail to the ridge, and I guess I'll have to backtrack all the way back to get my friends, which is gonna suck, but again, it's better than dropping down that cliff. I'm back where we started. I cut all the way over the ridge, back down here, and of course my friends are waiting for me at the other mine, so I'm gonna hustle on back and try and get them. We gotta get out of here, hitting some serious time pressure. I collected my friends back at where we started, and I remember promising that I would look in here, so I'm gonna show you this one really quickly. Got the remains of a dynamite box there. They said this was just a stope, and indeed it is. Okay, let's see. Dropping down there. That's my backpack dragon. There's modern trash, and that's it. So the other one must be the stope that runs up. We just looked in that one, and you can see the extent of this one. If you look up, you can look up to the chamber that we looked in up there before. And the sun is setting quickly. We need to get the heck down the mountain, or the hell down the mountain. And definitely a challenging mine. I'm glad it's done. I'll have to have a drink tonight and reflect on how much I liked it or not, but it was definitely interesting getting up here. One last shot. We're starting down. I wanted to give you the perspective of looking down the at least 1,000 feet or more of cable here. And then, oh, my friends are waiting for me. Those are my gloves. Looked over and saw the drill steel is used as an anchor there. It's got no hole in the end, so that dates it. You know, that's pretty old. So
They set this up probably 1800s and probably rebuilt it at least once. Probably.
yeah, if you didn't hear that, he was speculating they probably set this up in the 1800s.
Or they just found that drill steel line here and used it.
Or that as well. We're back at the tram station for the first workings we got to. See the cable in front of me running all the way up to where we started, and then this looks insane from here, but we crossed over to that wash where the other workings were, and that cable's running down here. You can't see it probably, but it's down the wash to the lower ore bin, or tram station, excuse me. Well, tram station and ore bin for the workings up on this wash. And then my little jaunt took me to the top of that ridge, and then I had to go all the way over, drop down to that one, and then run back there to get my friends, which looks just ridiculous and insane from this perspective.